I think I fought your brother there, Riker. Actually, I fought a Riker who played in Utah.
Yeah, Travi was captain of the Utah Grizzlies.
Yeah, we had a run in.
That's awesome.
Connecting the dots.
Told Travi, go, hey, just so you know, Robo called it a draw, and he responds, "Oh, did he now?"
Welcome to Puck Around and Pod Out, the only show that makes you feel worse about both yourself and all of us.
There's some scabbing. Yoga.
You got a chemical burn from yoga?
So you know how, I don't know your setup, but my setup is yoga mat. And then I have my non-slip kind of thing over the top of it, you know?
Yeah.
And so the non-slip works when you spray water on it to make it stick, right? Before you start pouring your sweat on. Well, I grabbed the wrong bottle and I think it was disinfectant.
Hey, buddy.
So we started in child's pose with face down on the mat. So I ate disinfectant for the first 3-4 minutes of class on my forehead. And I walked out of class and I was like, God, my forehead's like burning right now. And then I got in the shower. I was like, ooh, I'm like, this fucking hurts.
Let's see
and
it.
Then it's better now, but I got I got some scabbing. So I basically gave myself a facial that people pay hundreds of dollars for, but in yoga with bleach.
Do you know that chlorine. You probably used Raid? That's what happens.
Kyle, when you set foot in a hot yoga class once, then you can have an opinion on
Johnny,
what the fucking
that's
thing
crazy,
in the spray
man.
bottle is.
Come to
I
my
didn't
hot,
even know like
come to my
disinfectant
hot
would do that.
glute class.
Dude, it honestly, it was a full on, like my whole forehead was like red the other day after class. So I started my week off real hot. Kyle, you want to tell everybody how you hurt yourself yesterday?
I can tell you the results. I'm not going to tell you how, but I can tell you the results.
Do you want me to tell everybody how?
Yeah, we're gonna find out, Kiefer. Just tell us.
Kiefer was putting chemicals in his hot tub, and he turned his head quickly one way, and then his neck locked up.
So this is how I have to turn to the left.
Yes. Hey, at least you're not going on a 4-hour, 3-hour flight today, so you're good.
This is what caused it. This.
Hey, that's peak male physical condition right there.
Performance.
That's what that is. Yes, peak male performance.
You know how bad it hurts. I know you've had it happen. You know,
100%. I know. That's why it's even more funny when your neck's locked up, buddy. And you have to. Yeah, I can't. Like I wish we had a camera in your car for the drive to the airport when you have to check your blind spot and you have to swivel your whole body in the seat to check your blind spot.
Have you ever seen Moj? Moj has like a kink neck all the time. He is always. What's that? Rikes, you know.
There's so much going on with Moj that it's hard to focus on the kink neck.
When he's putting on his makeup and Riker comes in the room, he does this.
His makeup.
Good God, Kiefer. How are you going to fix this?
Riker.
How's the SI joint, Kiefer? Is that still bad too?
No, I'm good. I've just worked it out. It's good. I'm all right.
I just worked it out.
He's focused on the glutes. He's focusing on the glutes for the first time
worked it out.
54 years.
So
hey, I'm just going to be honest. We've never done a podcast this early. And it's not like I wasn't up, but there was some, I got to get things done and out. Like I got to go poop. I got to get my face semi-unswollen. I got to have my coffee. I got to kiss the girls. There's things going on, and I'm not used to this.
Well, you're just not used to being awake at this point.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Did you just hear about Kiefer's, what he calls stress in his life?
Yeah. Like,
I got to wake up, go to the bathroom, and then I got to get a coffee. And then I got to kiss my wife and kid. Like, you can't fathom the amount I have going on right now.
What a tough morning. Like,
yeah, I had to look at Steve. Maybe I had to do a little Instagram of Steve this morning. Like, do you know the pressure?
Yeah, and then check my Instagram reactions over the last 30 days, which is 900,000 plus. And he sent it to me yesterday saying how amazing he is at social media.
No,
Kiefer,
I did not. I'm going to
Kiefer,
stop
your
telling you
definition
anything.
of stress.
You repeat everything.
Kiefer's definition of stress is not reality, man. Like it just ain't stress.
My most stressful point this morning was Quincy said, "Hey, can I get some lunch money?" And I said, "What?"
Oh my God.
McGee, dealing with a truck that broke down. How he's going to get to the airport, frickin' oil pump dropping oil in the gas, and Kiefer's worried about his Keurig K-Cup fucking being not warm enough. The stress just blowing him out of the water.
That was weird yesterday when Connor just laid it on. Like he laid on like 4 or 5 things that are currently happening in his life. I didn't know when the conversation started.
Riker, you worked the game with them against Edmonton last night. Was there a Mount McGahey last night when McKinnon got punted?
Now the McKinnon thing, which I'm sure we're going to talk about here shortly, was nuclear, but I was nuclear with him on that.
Oh yeah,
so
everybody was.
Mount McGahey myself, but no. His wife was there, and she had to take him home because his truck wasn't ready, so she had to bring him down, watch the game, took him home. Geez. So he was like a kid getting dropped off at school and picked up last night. He was not happy. But who would be, boys? I mean, who would be with that scenario?
Well, we got to ask Wroblewski when he jumps on if he watched that game last night. I would think that he did because he's on the West Coast, so it's not too late. But if he watched the game and what his thoughts were. I mean, Bedsy flat out said today, like, I feel the exact same way about it. He goes, you're punishing a guy for going to the net and beating the defenseman, and the defenseman has to launch himself to knock the puck away and then knock our guy into the goalie.
Can I just tell you my least favorite part of this whole thing is that the review probably took 5-6 minutes. It was not quick. So you got 2 officials, and I'm assuming 2 to 3 people in Toronto. Okay, so you have 5 people, and I'm just taking the law of averages. If including Edmonton fans, including Ryan Whitney, including, Homer Oiler fans, and Tuukka Rask, who's watching it on TNT, is saying this is not goaltender interference. Well, whether or not it's goaltender interference, this is not a 5-minute major. Everyone. No. And those particular 5 guys came up with, it is. How does that happen?
I wonder if they defer to the refs on the ice, if Toronto defers to them and they have the final say. Because that's what it felt like. Saying that, like, the explanation, and I don't know who said it in the post-game comments, the explanation they got, I think it was Kale, was that McKinnon got bumped but not bumped hard enough, is what the ref told him. Like, dude, in the end, they didn't score on that power play, but, like, that's a game-changing call against the top 2 player in the world.
That's what makes the argument even better, is that you take out a game-changing guy, a third-period guy that can change the game on that, boom.
Yeah. Well, and can we go to Tuukka Rask's comments, by the way? It's Nathan McKinnon going to the net. It's not Miles Wood.
Yeah.
He said if it was Miles Wood, it would have been a 10-game suspension.
Yeah, exactly. But like Miles Wood taken astray from the TNT panel.
Oh, yes. Okay. That's good. Yeah. Thanks for
and I played with Tukes in Boston, and I think Woody was in Jersey at the time, and he probably ran Tukes a few times. So I'm guessing there's some PTSD there from Tukes.
Okay. Hey, let's raise the bar a bit here, guys.
Do it.
Let's talk about a referee suspension. Let's talk about the stupidity of me chatting with all the brass upstairs, the TNT crew that was up and doing the game last night, every single hockey pundit across the Twitter world, X world, whatever you want to call it. I got deranged Oiler fans, as you called it, Kiefer, don't think it was a 5-minute major. How in the hell can the officials make this call when the hockey universe says 2 minutes at most? Guys like me, Jared Bednar, not a penalty at all. Like Darnell Nurse is 6'4", 220 pounds, and came back like a football tackle because he was trying to make a great play that he did to save a goal. He catches McKinnon at the hip. He's probably skating 15 to 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And you think McKinnon can get out of the way? He's the best skater on the planet. He's never run over a goaltender in his career. You think this was the moment he chose to pick Ingram's head because that's the player he is? It's so stupid.
You bring
it's
up
the worst call that I have seen in officiating in years, and it's backed up by every hockey player on the planet. It should be a suspension. It's brutal.
Well, and there's zero repercussion for that.
Stupid.
Call it a horseshit call.
It's garbage.
Riker,
it's
you
one of
bring
the
up a good
worst
point.
freaking calls ever.
which is accountability, right? So if Jared Bednar or Nathan McKinnon or the players on either side have to face the media eventually, whether it's right after the game or the next morning skate or whatever, they face the questions. And the only situation I can think where referees in any sport face any sort of accountability is gambling in the NBA, which I've seen, a couple of times where it's serious. So on a call like this, right? Yeah. On a call like this, there should be some sort of rule that says, hey, if you're not going to give an explanation to the coach, which Coach Bednar was patiently waiting after the period, I think probably a couple minutes, the team was gone, waiting for some sort of explanation. You can't hide behind an email from the league. You have to address.
He gave an explanation at the beginning of the third. You could see that Bedsy was talking to him, but beginning of the third, Kelly Sutherland went over there, gave an explanation. Bedsy said it wasn't a sufficient explanation, though. And the repercussion, you know what the repercussion is? If it's a bad call or they make bad calls, they don't ref in the playoffs.
Good.
Or they aren't one of the top referees chosen in the playoffs.
Well, Connor had sent out some, I think it was Connor had sent out some, and I'm not buying all these conspiracy theories, but that the Avs lose 73% of the time. Did you guys see that? I don't know. I don't know if there's any, I'm not going to get into all that, but I still can't believe that 5 people can get together and I don't know if it's a majority rules, if it's 3 versus 2, if it's, if everybody's just saying, yeah, I totally agree with you, or they give the refs the final call. I don't know how you physically can watch that and go, yep, 5-minute major.
Here's what the officials did. Here's the mistake they made. They got emotionally invested in the viciousness of the hit, like how hard the hit was. They took that into consideration for the penalty, and that's where they made the mistake. It doesn't matter, like Jared said, whether the goalie's hurt or not. Doesn't matter. That's not affecting this play. But that's what they took into account, and they made an emotional decision instead of an intelligent decision that Nate was blowing into the net. They're thinking he was skating recklessly through the crease. He took like 2 strides the last 10 feet to get there. Like he was just going normal speed.
I thought your tweet where you had the 2 lines and the toes pointed directly out of the crease was brilliant.
Nate's going to probably at the worst case scenario, he might catch the goalie stick going through the crease as he's going to blaze out of the zone, right? That's it. I don't know. It's so bizarre to me. It's just, it pissed me off the whole game. It's pissed me off this morning.
If I could bring in a guy who I'm sure has never had an issue with any referee ever.
Yes.
Ooh. Hey, Johnny.
What's up, Robo?
Oh, yeah. Ginny's on, too.
What do you got? Oh, I love it. That's awesome. Hey.
That's a great nickname right there. Robo is a dynamite nickname. I love that.
Yeah.
So Robo with the Stars and Robo with USA, both cat guys, apparently, allegedly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jason Robertson's a cat guy?
Do you work in the league?
Buddy, everybody knows he loves cats. I've known that for years.
Right.
Yeah, well,
I've
been living in the mountains the last 8 years.
Something about, why do you score goals for it's for my cat, and it's perpetual. So anyway,
all right,
big cat guy.
Maybe I should.
Robos. Yeah.
Maybe I should have gotten a cat, scored more goals. I don't know.
Hey, Robo, can we ask you did you watch the game last night?
Geez, which one?
The Avs.
Avs, Oilers.
I turned it off after the second.
So you saw the call, though?
I did see the call.
The McKinnon call.
I did.
Yeah. Okay. Honest assessment from the head coach of the USA women's Olympic team, women's national team. Yeah. Honest assessment.
So I thought Mac was going to the net as hard as he could. and legally. And I thought that his route was going to take him above the paint. And I thought that he got nudged, hit, taken on by an extremely sturdy D, Darnell Nurse, who's one of the biggest frames in the league. That doesn't take much to knock a train slightly off the rails. And I thought it was completely out of character for McKinnon to run a goalie, and isn't in his brand. And so I'm chalking the whole thing up to inadvertent contact. The whistle gets blown. The spotters did a great job getting Connor the help that he needed, and the faceoff should have been outside the zone with no penalty assessed.
Ooh, thank you.
And an unfortunate play. But I mean, I don't know what you're going to do when Darnell Nurse is coming full speed at you. I know McKinnon's is the strongest guy in the league, but still, when Nurse clips you like that, going to the net, your momentum's, you're going there too. So with a review too, right? Like they review it. Whatever. I mean, we've just been debating it for the last 10 minutes on here. So it's where did you guys stand on it?
Oh, we went nuclear. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
we almost got kicked off Twitter. Like Elon was writing each one of us individually saying like, you got to slow down.
That's impossible to get kicked off X these days. So congratulations, I would say, if that happened.
Hey, Riker said that we didn't have the TV last night, so we were watching it at home, Johnny and I, but Riker did radio. Riker, tell Robo your sort of feeling on it.
Well, I think you said it perfectly, actually. And we talked to all the TNT guys, all the hockey boys up top there. The softest side of it was 2 minutes for goalie interference because his feet were in the paint. However, everybody is not taken into account. There's supermos of Darnell Nurse. His back is like completely torqued because he hits Nate so hard in the hip. And Robo, you said it perfect. That guy's massive. And the way he dove at the puck, it was almost like a football play where you're tackling a guy at the hip to shut him down.
Going to the corner pylon, running back, going to the corner pylon, and linebacker hitting him like this and sending him over the corner pylon. That's exactly what I thought about.
Tackle.
Yeah.
So
it's a weird call.
Up, as you can tell.
Yeah. I was watching it, and then I was on a couple of text threads and going, this doesn't make a ton of sense from the way that I'm seeing this. And so anyway.
All right. Well, we always start our show off with 5 hot fire questions to kind of get your blood pumping, get you in the mood, because this is not a normal podcast. Okay. So don't expect any of these questions to be like anything you've ever heard, but we appreciate and encourage complete and total honesty and transparency. So
how many gas stations are there in the U.S.?
I wish they were that easy. All right, Robo. If you were arrested, what would your buddies assume you did?
Let's go disorderly conduct. That's just a nice generic.
That was so.
I've been arrested. Disorderly conduct.
Johnny, would you like to jump in there?
No, I'm on board.
But the only other thing I could see now at this stage of life it wouldn't be the full Nick Tarnasky, but there could be a golf course incident that could be something that could go.
That's a great call. Good call.
If we were to get if we were going to get creative with how this disorderly conduct, I've got a thing with slow play on the golf course, so that could enter or taking your time at the turn, getting your hot dog, getting your whatever else. Like
you'd hate playing with Kiefer because this guy lines his putt up from fucking 10 different angles, and does he make them? How slow he is.
What's his handicap?
Kiefer, what's your handicap? What's your 7. Glamour handicap?
7.
Yeah,
7's fine.
Like
all right,
4,
so
but he's carrying a 7.
Yeah, and so then there's a lot of considerations if you're good. Then that
Robo, I did almost have to double leg my caddy when he didn't pull the pin on an absolute bomb.
Disorderly
We're off the
disorderly
rails.
conduct.
Okay,
We're off the rails.
Okay, question number 2. If you had to put a warning label on Johnny Liles' chest, what would it say?
Damn it.
I would go.
It could go so many directions.
No. It's real simple, and it's only because he comes off with this disposition of being calm and cool and collected. But he's pack. For those in the know, he's packing heat. That's the warning label.
Oh God. Oh.
I got one for Johnny's chest.
Oh no. Why? Second question.
Use at your own risk. That's what I would put it.
I think. Yeah.
Hey, Robo.
Not liable.
Oh God.
Anyway.
All right, question 3. This
right,
is going to be about my height, probably.
No. This one is from my daughter, so to take it with a grain of salt, she's 15, but I let her come up with one. Would you rather burp glitter or fart confetti?
Let's go with burp and some glitter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. When is the last time you danced, and what is your go-to dance move?
Yeah, this is fair. I was at the circus about right before the Olympics with my little guy out here in LA and a group of his friends, and the circus hit a little bit of a stalemate about halfway through, so about an hour in, and they went to kind of like the guy went, they were doing all kinds of trapeze and stuff, and then they started doing just little like cup tricks and stuff like that, and the kids were pretty turned off by it. So I got up and did the crab dance. So you're up here.
Yeah.
And then you're real nice low bass, and you get a nice bounce to the crab dance. So yeah, that's it.
Robo
That's
can
the
get
go-to.
down. I've seen him get down over the years. I've seen it happen.
Got
Got to have good glutes to be doing the old crab, because if you're going to get low.
Things get loose. Things get loose sometimes.
All right, final question. You have to pick one of these. You have to.
Got it.
Option 1, wear a fur coat every time you coach from now to forever.
I like that.
Sounds good.
Never use silverware again, and you can't tell anyone why. Just strictly hands. Or every time you laugh, instead of laughing, you cry hysterically forever.
I mean, I get to wear a fur coat, like kind of like Macklemore style.
Like that's this.
Yeah. Kramer, like Cosmo Kramer. I'm in on the fur coat, and like
that was a gift.
I got to meet Snoop, and there'd be some. I bet he's got some good ideas too. So that would be fur coat. Sign me up.
Wow, U.S. Canada, and he's looking like old Coops
Reg
in
Dunlop.
Tampa Bay. Just
Reg Dunlop, Coop. Yeah, exactly.
Well
All
done.
right, I'm going to start this off after the questions with one of our favorite topics that we still talk about on our group chat today. You and I played at the U.S. program way back when. Way back
29 years ago, buddy. My nephew,
29 years ago.
is trying out right now. 29 years later.
I know.
So that's really cool.
I did hear that. I talked to Dunny yesterday, and I was going to ask you about that. But this is a little different. Within a month, I believe, of our first month of living in Ann Arbor, the gentleman that drove you to and from the rink had an incident. Do you want to tell it? Because I wasn't there. So I'd love if you would tell it. And we still to this day refer to it as the van of death.
Is he going to be okay if we tell this story?
100% he will be okay, and he will laugh his ass off.
So we lived in Ann Arbor, and in Ann Arbor they have a beautiful cobblestone area of town. In said cobblestone area, they had just a brilliant mansion that also served as a restaurant called the Gandy Dancer. I believe it's still there, right by the train station. And it happened to be right on our way home from the rink. And we're driving home from practice, and it's a rainy evening, I believe in November, so cold, rainy, everything else. And one of the valet drivers from the Gandy Dancer wanted to make his job as speedy and thrifty as possible. So he is sprinting back across the road on this tiny little blocked in cobblestone area and proceeds to make direct eye contact with us as he's running across the road. If he keeps going, he's fine. But he freezes, deer in the headlights, locks eye contact, driver 100% attentive, slams on the brakes. Due to the cobblestone and the rain, we just continued. I mean, this skid must have been, 30 feet, and I can laugh about it because the guy's fine afterwards. But I mean, we hit this guy just like speed bump, and so we stop right behind it, and we get out of the car. And we're like, buddy, are you okay? He's like, we just ran over this guy twice. He gets up and sprints. So somehow he gets up and sprints away back towards the direction of the restaurant. And come to find out later, he had both his legs were like, it was absolute marvel that he had 2 broken legs and everything, but he somehow got up and ran away from the incident. And it was incredible.
Green minivan that our teammate was driving. And if I'm not mistaken, was he not smashing the steering wheel going, I killed him.
That's correct.
So,
that's
the next
very
day at
accurate.
practice, our next day at school, our guy, like Robo, who else was in the car? Was it
I believe it was
Billy
Ricky,
in the car?
Ricky, I believe it was Ricky.
Oh, DiPietro
was in there too.
And those guys could not
Cass.
wait to tell this story. Boys,
big.
It's
big time.
Smoked a guy. So yes, that was one of the intros.
But anyway, the guy
NTDP
was
time.
okay. There was a checkup on him. There was continuous checkups on him as it went forward. And I cannot tell you, this was way before cell phones. Nobody was, we wouldn't be telling the story if anything was on the up and up in terms of guys were, weren't paying attention. He was 100% paying attention to the road and everything else. And it was a crazy incident though, for being you're away from home for the first time, and then, you run this guy over. But it was not, at the time, it was absolutely traumatizing. And now that everything worked out and the guy's okay afterwards and everything else, but maybe he's listening to this podcast now.
It's kind of like if you're driving your car and you hit a deer, and the deer gets up and bolts back.
It was
into
exactly like it. I just never expected it. It was exactly like that, but never expected a human to do it. So. Thank God he was okay. As Ricky said it from the back, the driver as well, that I think he's dead. Yeah, that would have been a fair assessment.
Brick, you might want to leave town for a while. You killed the man.
Lay low for a while. Yeah. Oh God.
You can say that with a few things going on in the NHL right now. I've seen that meme with a couple of the strikes going on with the stick work that's happening lately.
Mm-hmm.
So, Robo, before we get into Olympics, tell us about your playing career. We got a little touch there with Johnny at National Development. So, why Notre Dame?
Yep.
And then what was it like playing in the jungle for the Fresno Falcons, man?
So, got to play at the program, and I think 29 years ago they were formulating this thing, and that was at the age of the Devils had just kind of come out of their 1-2-2, and Bobby Holik is getting $9 million a year if my memory serves right. It's kind of like that era of the big body and the trap, and I think that was at a time too where coaches were just starting to understand what the power was of running a system in congregation with video. It was, if you remember, Johnny, remember how Alex Roberts used to have to tote, and John Hines, they used to tote around this double deck. I mean, it was its own how do you even describe this thing? You know, like what a band would roll around to carry all of their big stuff. That's what the video just functionality was. And it had a double deck VCR on it, and they would have to have the game playing on VCR 1, and then if they wanted to record something, they would hit it, and you had to have it was crazy. And this thing would go on the bottom of the bus no matter where we went on the entire planet. And so short story long on that is that, you know, they were looking, I think, for like the fact that Liles made that team back then, I think it just says so much about how dynamic of a player he was, because they were only looking for big, strong guys. Like that that could play a trapping system, that could clutch and hold, like
left wing lock.
Right. I played a left wing lock for 2 years. And so like you think about that from a development standpoint, if you've got a guy just say, hey, go and lock the other team's right wing, you don't know forecheck reads for 2 years.
Every
Crazy
game.
Stuff. I know every game. So anyway, I wasn't going to say it, but since you did, it was, but that was the mentality. You know, there was a development model for the national team as opposed to the player, which I think has like changed a lot. Like if I look at it, you know, from my standpoint, you develop the player to work for the team, you know, and so the national team was an unbelievable experience. Still some of my best friends that we played there. And then Notre Dame, it was an easy fit for me. Just like, kind of like when you get somewhere and you know it's home, you know it's your favorite place, you know what it is. It was just an easy transition. Andy Slaggert was the long standing recruiting. Both his kids. I mean, he's got Landon, who plays in the show with the Blackhawks. Graham's with the Rochester Americans, who's been there for 4 or 5 years, sort of like, you know, that institutional American League stalwart type of guy. And Slags, you know, he was the glue of that program. And he played at Notre Dame, and it's just an incredible human being who just is the connective tissue to the entire program. If I were to take an assessment from 30,000 feet. And so, you know, it was a really optimistic move too. Dave Poulin was the head coach at the time, and I lined up really well with Dave, and a lot of the things that, you know, his intensities and things like that, he and I really, really did line up. And it was a struggle, man, though. Like right away you get there. And back then I kind of alluded to it, the way that the game was going, but you know, you've got Sean Horkoff, say it's on Johnny's team there. And Sean's like, you know, a 23-year-old senior. And that guy in this day and age was already playing like 200 games in the NHL by that point. And you had these guys in college, like Jeff Gilson at Michigan. They're not only like, you know what I mean? Like Commissaric, like these guys weren't just, that era of player. Even like you look at, I don't know if you remember this guy at Western, but Steve Rimshaw, I think his name was. Like guys like 6'5", and these guys are like, you have, as an 18-year-old walking into college hockey back then, I can't even imagine what they looked at you like in terms of just like sharks, just like circling these kids, because they were grown men, and it was designed. The game was designed at that point, like it was a clutch and grab. You didn't even have to teach it. That's just how you survived. Oh man, it was a struggle for me coming in at 185 pounds as a freshman, 6'1", 185 pounds. I needed a little bit more corner weight there. I got hurt a couple times my freshman year, blew out both shoulders, so that didn't help things out, and I struggled mightily, but turned things around as things went up, and had a pretty good junior and senior season, and got to go to NHL camp with Vancouver that summer, and that was, you know, Bertuzzi. That was kind of their heyday. That was Bertuzzi, and and the Sedins were there, Naslund. So that was amazing. Got cut really quickly there. You know, it was actually I was kind of hand in hand with. We were in the same situation. Was Alex Burrows at the time. So he was an ECHLer the year before, and I'm coming out, and it was a great, honestly, realization. I had a number of these things happen throughout my career where it's like, whether it's coaching or at that time playing, like realizations. Like I watched how Burrows, like he got to stay on and I didn't, and I was like, huh. And I took a look at it, and but the way that he went about his business was something that I don't think I was equipped to do. Like the way that he played, the way that he was like, I tried to play on edge and I tried to play physical, but to do it like that, like to the craft that he had at that, and then obviously the offensive prowess followed him, but more importantly is how he opened the door to get in. Like it's either, you can either get in with skill. It's like, 75% of the guys in the league are just, naturally athletically gonna be in the mix, right, in the NHL. And then there's about, 15 or 20% of guys that make it just be through sheer will. And then there's like a combination, and that's the top of that pyramid is like, those are like the superstars, the real sickos that have that ridiculous will, and that athletic prowess. And, I would say that Burrows was for sure in that like 15 to 20% ratio where he's a good player, but man, his willpower was what got him in the league. And you see that with a lot of the depth and role players, guys that, that somehow persevere. And I didn't have that as a player. And, I really enjoyed my time. It took me another minute to figure that out at the ECHL level. And back then in the West, it was a killer league out there. You had Morasti, you had McGrattan,
Oh, God.
And even the guys that were in that league. I think I fought your brother there, Riker. Actually, I fought a Rycroft who played in Utah. Yeah,
Travi was captain of the Utah Grizzlies.
Yeah, we had a run in one.
Awesome.
Connecting the dots.
In my last year there, we had a run in. It took you a little bit to figure out, like, coming from college, and then like it's blood in the water. Like back then you were a college guy in the ECHL and you're out west like that, and there were holdovers from the West Coast Hockey League, and these guys are like really good players, 27, 28, some of them with a mortgage, and they're literally like threatening your life on the ice, and you're not sure whether or not they're real. Like and back then
jungle, baby.
there was no like there might have been video but it's the one panning, screen on the top, and they're not going back and giving guys suspensions for things that happened prior, and it was like it was scary out there. Like,
Robo,
yo,
what happened in the fight versus Riker's brother?
Yeah, Travi was pretty tough, man.
Yeah,
I'm sure you remember the full head of hair that Travis had, because it's amazing.
I don't remember. I know we were both neither one of us hit the ice afterwards, but he got me good with one, and I think we each got each other once with a really good one, but it was a spirited scrap. It wasn't like he took, if I remember right, there was a little bit of he goaded me into a unsportsmanlike right before it. So it was like kind of one of those things where, like, I was a captain for my team, he's a captain of that team. It's like, hey, let's go. And I think that he goaded me into an unsportsmanlike on this one. You might want to check with him though to make sure that this is real.
I'm texting
and so then
right
when I got out of the box,
now.
when I got out of the box, it was like this is happening. And so we threw down right off the draw. And
that's awesome.
I do remember, like, I missed him with one. It went right by. I wasn't, I didn't fight a ton, but I threw one that went right by his head, and it just missed him. And he definitely cracked me with a good one, because I remember on the way to the box, I was spinning a a bit. So there it is.
Look at this.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Griff
Yeah,
went
there
digging.
it is. Yeah.
Nice work, Griff. Look
That's
at you.
savage.
Griff
You can pull that
lives
off.
on a spaceship with a satellite. I mean, he hears you say something, he's going to go find it right away. Hey, I got a
Nicely
question
done.
for you, though, because you were talking about some of those guys that just had it. Now, you oversaw a lot of the development of a lot of, the players. I read Jack Hughes was one of them. I'm curious, what is the one thing that you notice right away that a player is going to be special?
There, the interesting thing about that, and I got to see it firsthand, was in Pittsburgh. I got my first job in pro hockey. So I started off, retired in 2007, right after that fight with Riker's brother, because I'm like, this is it. I've had enough of this shit. So anyway, Heinz and Mono. I was thinking about transitioning. Heinz and Mono got me in back at the program, and I got to go back in 2007, 2008, and stayed there until 2010, and then got a job at the Wheeling Nailers. And with that, we got to do the full spectrum with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So like we're only an hour away from Wheeling in Pittsburgh, and we would drive up every day for training camp. And Danny Bosma was the head coach at the time, and they just got done winning a cup, if I'm not mistaken. And they were open doors. It was incredible, like to be able to come in and see that as a young coach, and like be able to like see how they did everything. And especially with Pittsburgh at that time. But Crosby, if that's 2010, Crosby's 23, and you're watching the best player on the planet come in, and all of a sudden you realize, wait a second, he's just kind of like the other guys a little bit that you've seen. And especially after coming through the U18 program, you start to see this, what a superstar is. And I that was one of the things that I forgot about after leaving the program and then like re-entering different coaching realms, is working with elite it is a completely different definition for people that haven't worked around elite players. But you do start to see some nuances with these guys. There's intensities, but I will say Jack is as normal. You can go back and look at some of the stuff that I would say about him pre-draft. He's as normal of a kid as you can be around away from the rink. But when these guys decide that, it's time for whatever their trade is, in this case it's hockey, or if it's training or whatever, there's a switch that they can turn on, and it's incredible to watch the intensity that you see in their eyes when you're working with one of those rare elite commodity type players. And I see it a lot with our women. I get, that's one of the cool things about working in the Olympic program, is you have literally the best players from like a decade and a half, and they're at the top of what they do. And so you see those same intensities out of, Caroline Harvey that you saw, out of Jack Hughes that you saw from a young Crosby at the time. But you also see the normalcies. Like they're really normal. Not everything is wired. I bet McKinnon might be a little different for you guys in Colorado, but McDavid up in Edmonton. But for what my experience has been, is that these individuals actually carry themselves pretty normally until it's go time, but then it's straight business. Like there's a whole nother level of assuredness, the way that they lock in their eyes on you when you're saying something. If they've got, and the other thing too that I can talk about is like when you watch those players play, like if you turn back and you look at Megan Keller's gold medal goal, and if there's one snapshot of her after she dangles the D and then slips it past the goalie, she is somehow still looking, as she gets around the goalie, she's looking back as the puck is crossing the goal line, and there's a calm to her eyes during all of this that I think is. It's one of the most incredible things that you see. And I saw that, remember Charles Poliquin, Johnny? He was the sports guy. He was the one that was saying, exactly.
Yeah. A lot of concussions, Robo. It just takes a minute to get there.
Oh, good. So anyway, Poliquin was like the first guy to say, like, don't, really watch what you eat in terms of like carbohydrates. Not all carbs are great. And like, he was like big into, he was probably the innovator, at least the one that jump started all of what we know about advanced sports science. He like, there was maybe other guys that were like smarter, but he was the one that brought it to light. And, I believe it was one of his articles, or at least a subset, and he would talk about a master sprinter. I believe Michael Johnson was who he was referencing, and how the master sprinter is never at white knuckling it and going 100%. The master sprinter's at 97, so that he can feel he can feel the push. He can feel like he's getting every single thing out of his arm mechanics. He's getting the final push off of his toe, but the dude that's chasing him is white knuckling it, and that guy's just like churning and doing everything he possibly can. Meanwhile, this guy's an efficient engine, and that's where I really see out of the super elite is like you watch Quinn Hughes and everybody gives Quinny a bunch, they have a good time with him, but that dude I bet is rarely at 95 in terms of what he can actually go at. And Johnny, you were the same way. You guys were silk. And like you're the way that you can manicure is why you're able then to find a seam and why you can, pop a puck to the middle through a guy's triangle under duress. Well, it's because your glide is better, you're more efficient, and you don't have to be going 100%. And otherwise, if you were, you wouldn't be able to stay in control at those premium times of infliction.
Yeah. That's
wow.
Dude, that is crazy insight, but it's like you're bringing up like there's stuff firing right now that hasn't fired in 20 some odd years, and it's what's that?
I said you ain't shit. I feel like an absolute loser listening to this. I'm like, I haven't gone above 40% in like 30 years, so I need to get it up to like 95.
You guys, I got a response from my brother. Robo, I don't know if you're ready for this. So we got to find this video.
What it is. I mean, it's 20 years ago. You got video?
So we got to find this video. So my brother goes, he quick started me off the draw, and then I gave it to him.
Fair.
Robo respond.
Oh God,
that's fair.
That's unreal. All right, so we're talking about just elite level athletes and working with the women and whatnot. Like, couple minutes left, right? Like I'm going to the Olympics now.
Hold on here.
Couple minutes left. Oh no.
One sec. How does one quick start somebody off the draw after an unsportsmanlike that he? So let's just go on what we know. All right, let's just go on what we know. We don't. So he, and I respect your brother. He's a real good player. But let's just go on what we know.
This is great.
All right. So we pull up the box score. My recollection of it is that he goaded me into an unsportsmanlike where I said, let's go. And then he didn't drop his gloves and I get the unsportsmanlike. So I said off the next draw, I get out of the box, we're going. So
it's coming.
All of that lined up. And so I think that we should go by the accuracy of what I've said and that he gave it to me. It was not even close to accurate. But so we'll let that. I would love to. That's awesome though. That's really funny. So anyway, Johnny,
dig for this video. It did exist online. Trav said it got taken down. So we'll do everything we can to find this fight video. Be so legendary.
It would be unreal. Yeah, Griff's gonna find it. We're gonna put it on the pod when
we'll hunt it down. We got to find
Griff
it.
will find it. He's gonna dig into the darkest corners of the web to find.
He's got
fight.
the flex capacitor going. He's got his fucking helmet on. He's the.
We'll call the Utah Grizzlies. We'll get into the archives. We'll find this baby.
I love it.
Yeah, Griff's Starlink will be smoking while he's looking for this fucking video.
So anyway, sorry, Johnny. You said like something around
that's all right, dude.
3 minutes left or something like that. You said,
just talking about like, listen, you guys in the round robin, you beat Canada 5-0. I believe in the because you guys have the rivalry series. So my daughter's 10. She plays travel hockey. We follow the women's stuff like with PWHL. Like we're sitting here, fingers crossed for a expansion team in Denver. I like we follow everything. We took my daughter out of school for the gold medal game and let her watch. Like she freaking loves everything, right? And so we're watching this game, and 3 minutes left, 2.5 minutes left. You guys pull the goalie. Just run me through what's going through your mind with the goalie pulled, knowing what you have, because Canada played like I watch it. And I'm watching it as an analyst, former player. Obviously, you're seeing it, real time as a coach. But Canada played like a near perfect game, especially early on, right? Like they muddied it, they were dumping it, they were they slowed you guys down. What's going through your mind as you're pulling that goaltender and it's 1-0? I mean, is there a calmness? The talent you have on your team. Like I'm fascinated by what's going through your mind, and like it's cool because obviously we know each other. We've known each other for a long time, and I'm watching you on TV in this moment, and I'm going, fuck, what's going through his mind at this point?
So All right. There's a lot to unpack on something like this, but
Yeah.
the most important thing that I found as a coach is that preparation and thoroughness and everything else that you do before the game allows you to disarm and to become emotionally removed once the game starts. When I've honestly like had some of my worst games on the bench, like in terms of like emotional control, it's because there's been I'm not saying that it's necessarily your fault. Like, it's not like you were like, I'm going to purposely not prepare for this game, but there's conditions that lead into that. There's fatigue, there's travel, there's a snafu with the video from games before, something like that. I felt like this Olympics and what the rise has been, for me, is that the preparation gives you the freedom to remove yourself as far as you can from the emotions of the game. And the other thing that I've done, and this is something that is true and inherent to me, but it's to really think about it and reassess all the time about what you're doing in regard to service for the players. So how can you best serve the players on this team to get what they want? And so I think as a coach, you get caught up in the prize game sometimes, at least I did, with next level, next job, Stanley Cup. How can I chase down a legacy type of thing and be in this prize mode? And for an athlete, it's really important for them to be in prize mode. Next contract, next loose puck, next goal, next assist. If you're not in prize mode, I think you're leaving some incentives on the table for what your motivation is. And hell, like that's why you play. You know what I mean? Like, that's why you play. But as a coach, or a manager, you have to do everything you can to remove yourself from that prize based way of thinking. And it was really clear for me on how to get to that space when Hillary Knight announced that it was going to be her last Olympics. It's like, all right, how do we serve this team? What's the best way for us to cement her legacy in this program? How do we surround her with the best players? One, and what do we do for Hillary to get her this gold medal, to have her go out on a high note? And and that it wasn't just Hillary with that, because I think there could be a couple other of our established players that this might be their last Olympics. So, but it was sort of a figurehead and a very easy like target to go with. So by the time you get to the gold medal game, I actually found myself doing something that I've never done in a game before. I wasn't watching the events that were happening in the game as much as I was watching the players to see what their adrenaline. Because I've been in some buildings. I've been in numerous NHL buildings. I was in Toronto for game 7 for the Blue Jays and Dodgers last October. I've been in some buildings where you felt the pressure of the fans and what it was like, how much people wanted one team to win and the other team to win, and how much the players wanted it. And I can honestly say that right next to that Dodgers and Blue Jays game was this U.S. and Canada gold medal game. The underlying energy in that building was an absolute pressure cooker, and I kind of detected that right away from the drop of the puck, that this isn't going to be the same in regard to how Canada might be able to utilize that adrenaline and what we might be experiencing, because of, yes, we had won seven games prior, and we had won that that preliminary game, and that's a proud country over there. And they're playing for their country. They're not just playing for themselves. They're playing for their country, and a very proud hockey institution. And not only that, but their average age is 30 years old. Those are women over there, and we've got 8 college girls in our lineup. And what does that look like when, from on this podcast, when men are playing boys? Is sort of like what does it look like when women are playing against, on paper, these are still girls, not on actuality, but on paper, they're still college kids. And when you drop that puck after 3 days of rest, So this isn't the back-to-back game that you get in the preliminaries or what you usually get in the World Championship. There's 3 days to gather up and muster up, and they've got Poulin, who's the version of McDavid or McKinnon. We don't have that answer yet, and there was a lot of things that added up to, people wanted to call it an upset, and I'm going, they're the reigning gold medalists with a strong contingent of their team. How in the world is this would this be an upset? But it was a rally point, and Canada played it to the best they possibly could, and they were strong, they were fast. And frankly, I felt like, just from watching our players, I felt like the adrenaline kicked in really weird ways for some of our ladies. And I was watching the players on their shifts as more than I was watching the events that were taking place on the ice. I figured that it was a gut instinct. Who is being affected by this? Who's taking those long? Because I remember I was one of those adrenaline based players, and I remember when it kicked in weird, and it killed your shifts. Like, you might think, like, in warm up, I feel great today. And then all of a sudden, like, you get through your first couple of shifts and you're like, oh my gosh, this adrenaline is no good for me. And you've got nothing in the tank. You talk about a 200-foot player, or somebody who can get up and down the ice once. Then there's a 400-foot player, a 600-foot player. I felt like there was times where we had some 600-foot players that looked like 400-foot players, and 400-foot players that looked like 200-foot players. And, I was watching this as keen as I possibly could to try to get the right people on the ice at the right times. But by the time that, you start to get down to that nitty gritty, and I learned this from Stan, necessarily not Stan, but Scotty Bowman, is that he used to do reverse math. So he'd count his shifts. And so I got pretty good at this throughout my time of being able to allot how many shifts are left in a game. And so then I know exactly when I need to get to 4 lines and trim that down to 3, and what those 3 lines are going to look like. Say you're chasing that lead or protecting that lead. And so, I had already gotten things pretty much boiled down, but we hadn't had a face off, which that's kind of hard when you start talking about, hey, I want to move our fourth line left wing up to second line right wing because she's going good, but we still need. All of a sudden, there's no face-offs, and they get that the puck got frozen, 2:30 left, and I'm thinking I'm going to need to call my timeout, but there was a salvation. I didn't even think the power break could still exist at that point of the game. I thought when they were that far down, that they just said no on the power break. That's power break for those at home. That's what they call it in IHF for TV timeout. And so the power break was on, and that gave us an extra 30 seconds, and I didn't have to burn our timeout. So we already have these things scripted out, like who's normally you've got it in your head who you would go with, but then Janicki probably wasn't on our on the go-to for that, but she was going great, and she had been going great all tournament. Might have gone with a different player at that point, but Janicki was on the ice there in that 6-on-5, and we real simple formation. Pretty much what everybody does is you try to get into some version of what looks like a spread at the top with your D. And then whatever side is the strong side, that D is going to try to get to the middle more or less, and then you run your standard 1-3-1 off of the other side. So if your righty D starts to get it to the middle, then your lefties start to stagger out to their wall. They're on their one-time sides, and then you move into more of like a standard 1-3-1 if you can get possession. Otherwise, what you're doing is you're just getting everybody spread out on the outsides. You get your D high and wide. You've got your righties and your lefties all kind of on like 6, if you can imagine, 6 players just on the outside of the ice, just to make sure until you can get that possession. And everybody's kind of got a quad that they're working with. And our players, we actually had we got to teach this throughout the tournament because we had some pulled goalie situations organically on a delayed call. So we were never down in the tournament, So we never got to talk about 6-on-5, but we actually had two key 6-on-5 extended shifts that we threw into video sessions just to talk about our methodology behind it. Cause it's something that, at the NHL level, you get a ton of experience at, but with us as a group, we just don't. You get thrown together in the Olympics and they've all been, it's not that we haven't had familiarities, but they're all go back to a PWHL team and NHL teams go back to your clubs. And like, at that point, you take away the edge. Like, okay, is there familiarity? Yes, but the secret sauce in all of this is like the 1 or 2 degrees that like make good teams good teams. Like knowing release points and knowing anticipation spots. Those are what make, like, people talk about team speed. Team speed is just anticipation. It's your players having the freedom to get downhill or to rim a puck or to these anticipation default plays. That's what makes players look fast. Ultimately, is that they know they can depend on a certain aspect and they can empty the tank into that regard. So by the time we got to the 6-on-5, Johnny, I'd given way to the outcome. I can honestly say that whatever was going to happen was going to happen, and it was through our preparedness. And even before the game, I've had some calms before, and I in gold medal games, I've been in a bunch of them at different levels. And there's a calmness or you've given peace to the outcome, and I had that before this game, and so whatever happened, I was honestly good with. And I look back the last 4 years and the fact that we were somehow, favored in this game. If anyone followed us around in February for the 3 years prior, we do a rivalry series with Canada and looked at these scores. My first year, we were up, it was a 7-game series. We were up 3-0. In the series, we lost the last 4, just get absolutely annihilated in February. Next year, we're up 3 again. And we went 3-0 those first 2 years that I was in the job in the rivalry series, get annihilated in February and lose all the games. It's same thing the year after. Like February was a nightmare. And Canada's just rolling us in those games. And I just look back at the fact that our team was even in the space to be able to, I was so proud of the fact of where the program had gone from, in 4 years. And, just the amount of the work and thoroughness that went into it and how far the players had come along, each and every one of them, not only as hockey players, but as people. And when I say people, I mean just key initiatives to a group or to an organization. Like, these women are so incredible. Like, if you dropped them out of hockey, they'd be just dynamic at whatever they chose to pick up afterwards. I can say that about every single one of the women in our locker room. And so at that point, you're just in such a debt of gratitude, and you're only want what's best for them. And you're just doing whatever you can, in service mode to put them in the right spots. And I think that, it all worked out. And Hillary's as righteous as they come. If there was ever, somebody that was, blessed by the hockey gods and there's rarefied air for her and, a spot in hockey heaven, that's Hillary Knight. And that she, I just felt, I found it a fitting end to everything we've been through, and very, very climactic.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Amazing.
I'd say.
Oh my God. That's so
good.
good.
Hey, let me just ask you, what was the moment like when you got to see your team get the medal and you got your medal? What was that, what was that moment like?
So again, prize based. I've absolved myself from what that, that feeling or like what that is to get the medal. I will attest to I had a moment with Hillary afterwards because coaches don't get medals. But I did want to see what it felt like after the press conference. Hillary and Megan Keller and I did a press conference afterwards. It's like very long after the game. It's like kind of incredible actually how long you have to wait around after the gold medal game to do your press conference. It's about 45 minutes or an hour after the game actually ends that you're actually doing the press conference. But I got to feel what an Olympic gold medal was, and that was a little bit different too for me. My dream was always USA Hockey. When from the time that I was 11 years old and watching Albertville, I remember just like I would have done anything to wear that jersey. And
Ray
I think
LeBlanc.
there we go. And I think that's a little bit different from a lot of the young boys growing up. Is a lot of them dream of Game 7, and my dream was always, for some reason, I wanted to play in the NHL. Don't get me wrong, but I loved the idea of the Olympic program. And when that national team, I remember reading it in we didn't have internet back then. We would get an actual publication, like
newspaper,
and I read it in like Wisconsin Hockey, that USA Hockey was gonna do this program, and you'd heard that they might, and it was the year was happening, and it's like, pedal down, let's see if we can get on this national team. That, to me, it's like USA Hockey's been an amazing place for me. It's been my motivation. It's been my everything that I've gotten in my professional career, and really my life in general. It has been because of the institution of USA Hockey. It's just been there for me, and I've been good for it. But it's been my right where I've been. And I can tell you though, where I did have the emotion was when that puck went in. It was incredible. And we talked about like a climactic moment. And, I'm sitting there on the bench, and I remember it vividly. And, the other thing about that goal is just how ridiculous the sequencing is for Taylor Heisey to be going back and then to hit a D for a stretch pass out there. Yeah. Right. And it's like, for Megan Keller to be out there as the only D on the ice, and to be actually put herself into a position for a stretch pass, and then to challenge the defenseman. It was also one of those, another scenario where it would have been, we stretch that puck out. Well, then Meg as the D brings it back. Right. And then we run a little slingshot play off of that to a forward coming up, like Murphy's coming off the bench. That would have been okay with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for some reason, that pass connects at 150 feet, Taylor fading away. It's tape to tape. Yeah. Meg's getting converged on by a defenseman. Meg's never, I don't think, has taken anybody on one-on-one like that in 4 years that I've seen it. And all of a sudden it's in the back of the net, and you're going, all right, I think we just scored. Because you're not sure either. Like the crowd's going crazy and the light's on, but at the same time, you're like, that puck went through the goalie. Do you really trust everything that you don't see? And at that point, then it's just like, oh my God, we just won the Olympics. You know what I mean? And it's like, that is for that to happen. And, you just think about the childhood dreams that you've had. You think about how happy you are, like how much service you've put in, and how much that players like Haley Skamura, who is one of our, she's our 13th forward, 12th or 13th forward, but my God, we would never go to Milan without her because of her team spirit and what she brought to that group. And, the Hillary and just all of them, and how bad you knew that some of them, Alex Carpenter, had never won gold medal. And, and then you start thinking about, some of the things personally that you've been through, like how much my mom was supposed to be in Milan. She couldn't make it for medical reasons. My dad up in heaven, like my mom loves these, like all the teams that I coach, and they're most proud of me coaching the women's team. Like there's been some other things that I've done that are pretty decent, but like, they loved the fact that I coached the women, and I agree, it's the absolute best job that I've ever had. And so don't tell that to the U18 guys, but I just love this program so much.
It's funny because if you think of like Brandy Chastain, right, that moment when she's she's down and she's got the jersey off, and you mentioned the photo of kind of looking back and that puck's in the back of the net. Like these moments are so iconic, and I think of like Travis standing over you as you were on the ice, like a sack of potatoes.
Right.
These are huge moments.
Trav's getting a lot of love right now on this podcast.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's lighting me up over here. He'll be listening.
All right, real quick. We just talked about the gold for the women, but you mentioned it. You coached the U18 team in Ann Arbor, and you coached a bunch of the guys. I don't know the exact number. How many guys on the men's Olympic team did you coach in Ann Arbor?
Four in the birth year, like direct birth years, and then there's a grouping of guys that like all the way back to JT Miller. So JT was a 93, but I was so we had JT up with the 92s, which is actually the team with the most NHLers ever in NTDP history was the 92s. Guys like Brian Rust and Zucker, Justin Falk. Okay. I know, crazy group. They were awesome.
Yeah.
So when Jack's goal went in, I was in the arena, and I was so happy for Ellen. I mean, what a run that she had for us. I mean, her job that she does for us is as pivotal as anyone in any organization anywhere. The way that she keeps everything buoyant. She's the players when they have an issue or they have anything, they go to Ellen first. And it's like, whether it's good, it's could be the best thing that's ever happened to them, which is, or something that's not great. And they go to Ellen first. And it's incredible. And so what Ellen does, and then she diffuses things. Hey, should we go to Robo with this? Okay. And usually it is, yes. It's like 95% of the time, let's go to Robo and let's get this fixed, or let's talk about this. But then what she does for our staff, I mean, anyone who's like, I hope everyone in the world has someone like Ellen Hughes in their friend circle, because it's just like everything is the best, and everything's the best until it's not. And then when it's not, you hear it and she shoots you straight. Yeah. And she's like, this isn't good enough. Awesome. In her perfect way of doing it. And, when for her to get gold with us, and then for Quinny to get the game winner against Sweden, and then Jack to get the golden goal, it's just like, what an incredible sequencing. And I was so happy for Ellen, and and Jim. Don't want to leave Jim out of this, because Jim's fantastic as well. But Ellen's one of my. Well, it's hard to say.
It all circled back, right?
Awesome.
What you put into it, you get out of it. So it was like the circle of life came back to her. That's awesome.
Totally. But yeah, no. When Jack's goal went in, I was elated. I mean, it was. The Olympics are magic. I will say that. If you've Johnny's gotten to play in a couple of them, right? And
one, yeah.
Turin was just, sorry, I thought it was
just no, I was Vancouver. Was it
Vancouver?
I was a late cut, I think. Yeah. No, I played in Torino, and
Torino. Yeah,
I think I was a late cut for Vancouver. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, but the magic that you get there is incredible. The feeling, I would go to the Village every day. So we stayed at a hotel about half an hour walk. I'd walk over to the Village every single day just to get the energy from the athletes. So I'd go and utilize the gym there, because it was, you can either use an Italian hotel gym or go over and use the Olympic training facility. But you're literally absorbing.
Yeah.
You walk in there. I talked about the feeling of that, like that pressure cooker that you got in that building for the gold medal game. Like nothing I'd seen except for maybe Toronto, LA in the World Series. The uplifting spirit that you get from the excellence. I would just out there, like I talk about, getting an Ellen Hughes in your life. I mean, trying to surround yourself with people that are better than you, or, are excellent at what they do, and trying to soak in what they've got is it's incredible what you can obtain by osmosis, and going to that village every single day was just it was magic, and something I'm trying to carry over as much as I possibly can to my daily just like how do you grab a hold of something like that, and you can get little bits and pieces from it. But if you can ever get to an Olympics, I would highly recommend it, especially the winter ones. There's just something about the majesty of that event that I couldn't. I've been to numerous IHF events, which are all incredible, but the Olympics, it was as pure and enjoyable of an experience as I could possibly say. And that's, the victory at the end is icing. I would be singing the same praises if a different result.
Any other ones, boys? We kept them on for an hour.
I know, I feel bad, but I mean, the download is like,
it's like just
it's unreal.
Well, normally we're like, we try not to take anybody more than 30 minutes, but the way, like what you were discussing, there's no way I was cutting in, because it's so good and so just amazing to hear. Just all the different angles, man. Like, yeah, hey, you've come a long way in the last 30 years. I can't say the same for myself, but you're pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah, Johnny, I would err. I think that there's plenty of things that you're just too kind. But
I just go back to the tryout in Ann Arbor when you scored in I think it was our first scrimmage in the 40-man tryout, and you went by the coaches and you pointed at the back of your jersey.
I don't think that's accurate. That's not accurate. That's
legendary status.
This is like
so legendary.
This is like Super Troopers. This is not accurate. Do you remember though when, because you were an 80 but a late 80, and they let you play up in the 81s with us for that series against Russia?
Oh my God, man.
It was right when we got there and the Russians came over and we played them. It was a crazy like 2.5 weeks. We'd play them twice, and then they would go off and play somebody else, and we would go off and play like our North American League games, USHL games, whatever we were doing. And then we would come back, like say it was like a Monday and Tuesday we played, and we'd play all over Detroit, and the games were crazy. They'd sell out, and it was like a 5 or 6 game series against the Russian U17 team. And I remember that. Do you remember when they? The answer might be no, but do you remember when I had to go flying into their bench because they had you like hogtied? There was like 3 of them, and they were beating on you in front of they had you in the bench. And it was at Fraser in Fraser, Michigan.
I remember.
And I was the closest guy to the pile, and so I just came flying over and just went like torpedoed into the bench.
This is, oh my God. There's a lot of times in a couple of years that people had to come save me because I weighed about 161 pounds, I think.
That would be generous.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh God.
Still one of the strongest guys on the team.
Good old days. I had to find a way. Kiefer doesn't like that. He doesn't like talking about my strength. Oh my God.
It was funny because the other night we were taking some pictures with some fans after the show, and Johnny's got his arm around this guy, and I've got our arms are touching, and it turns into a bit of a wrist war. This guy's getting his picture taken, and Johnny and I are trying to break the other guy's arm. This guy's moving back and forth.
Oh God.
I mean, the other thing, another great Liles, and I don't want to pump his tires too much, but do you remember when you got that shoulder surgery after year 1, and the dude was he was shooting rounds of golf in the 40s with one arm. He's hitting with just his right arm, and he's going out and shooting 40 on 9 holes. It was
That's
absolutely
the last
incredible.
time he's ever shot in the 40s.
Yeah, right. No kidding, because everything's down in the low 30s or 20s.
What did you used to call me? What'd you used to call me on the golf course?
Justin Leonard. And this is no knock to Justin Leonard. It's more of a knock on John Liles.
I'm stealing that one.
God,
because everything was so like it was so buttoned up. You remember the top button? Everything was, and the game was just so
I never buttoned
so
the top
tight.
Totally. I totally
never
see
buttoned
that.
the top button.
At that time,
Totally
it was
see
not cool to be a tight, precise golfer. Everybody
God.
was, swinging from the fences, not Liles. Everything's
Kiefer.
280 right
God.
down the middle with a, persimmon driver.
260 now.
Oh my God. I could go on. We could run this for hours. Like I was going through all the different things, like just North American League losing 15 games straight to start our year,
man.
going to Hilton Head after our college careers, like driving down through the night, spending the week down there at your grandparents' place. Like shit. We could go on forever, but hey, we kept you long enough, Robo. You were unreal. You guys got any other follow-ups, or I think that's
Just
I just want to say
congratulations.
thank you.
buddy.
I just
Yeah.
want to
I'm
congrats,
Canadian,
man.
but congratulations. That was an incredible game. Way to go.
yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
It was
Hey,
awesome for
Robo,
the sport. Thanks, Regs.
Buddy, I gotta say something. I need to get to 95. Like the osmosis talk and the 95. Like I
Yeah.
suck as a human being. That's what I learned. I mean, some of those stories are just unreal.
The mental edge is
Yeah.
incredible, isn't it? The tricks
Yes.
they use and what they've learned. Wow.
Yeah. Well, like to be able to completely disconnect from the like what's going on the ice and just focus on what's happening in the building, the adrenaline, how the players are harnessing that, and be able to comprehend, process, and then utilize it as a coach. I mean, dude,
And I don't know if he has a photographic memory or not, but the amount of detail that
he's
not
smart
only
as
that
shit.
he can process just from the Olympics, just that game, but Johnny, he was taking you back to USA hockey, and he was taking you back to Notre
some of
Dame.
that stuff I've completely forgotten.
It's unreal.
Right? Like that
Unreal.
Russia one. I didn't even remember playing Russia, and then he brought it up, and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, we did. We played like a 6-game series with the Russian U17 team, like our first month or two in Ann Arbor. And now, mind you, we were the first class in Ann Arbor, first
Ever.
crew to go through there.
Yeah.
So like
Wow.
essentially what we did was almost like an experiment. And it was really to try and level the playing field with Canada. Right. And like what they're able to produce hockey wise. And yeah, I mean, dude, it's like going back, it's nuts. Like I remember being called in after the tryouts, and like I was probably 5'9", 100 and maybe 50 pounds, like 145 pounds. And I remember Bob Mancini, who was one of the head coaches, asked like my dad, like he's looking at my dad and he goes, well, you're 5'11". How tall is your wife? And my dad's like, well, my wife is, 5'9". And he kind of looks at me and he's like, he's not the biggest D man. He's like, we're going to offer him a spot, but maybe he can thrive as a smaller D man. And like to this day, like going back, like Robo said, he's like, he was never big, but it just these things pop up in my head. Right. And I still remember to this day, like Robo, the first, like, cause it's a tryout of 40 guys for whatever, 20 spots or something. And, Robo scored a breakaway goal and then went by the coaches and pointed at the back of his jersey.
Sick.
But for him to say, I had this US program as like my ultimate goal at the time when it was announced that it was coming out, like that makes so much sense that he just went by and he's like, let's go. I'm here. Right. Like he's unreal. Like, God, he's just smart. And fuck, I mean, known him for 30 years now.
Impressive human. Real impressive human.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
cool. I enjoyed that.
That was awesome. That's different than any of the other ones we've had, right?
No, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just that's one of those audiobooks when you're like walking around listening, or you're driving and you're just listening to this. And if you love hockey, like if you love the sport of hockey, or you coach youth hockey or whatever, if you listen to that podcast, you are in absolute hog heaven. Was it like having Will Ferrell on the podcast? No, but if you didn't learn something from that last hour, then you weren't listening.
It was almost like a motivational speaker in a way. Like that's just how he's built to talk. He's in his right profession. I can tell you that.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and I will say he knows where the bodies are buried. He's got dirt on me from way back, and he didn't go double barrel on me. So I'm appreciative of that.
Yeah, there were some things when I said, if you could put a label on Johnny, what label would you put on him? He was like, woof.
You could tell it was turning. He's like, God, which way do I go with this?
Yeah.
How do I keep this PG as I can?
Oh, God.
Tell Travis, our agency, Robo called it a draw. And he responds, oh, did he now?